So you're saying Jesus historically absolutely did exist, and we think that this is the shroud.
Mind-blowing in his talk with Mel Gibson. The new Shroud of Turin evidence is absolutely insane, and today I'm going to reveal all of it, including the newest piece of evidence that's baffling all scientists. Gibson has always been fascinated with Jesus, but nothing has fascinated him more than the Shroud of Turin, the supposed cloth that housed the body of Christ after his death. He talked about how the recent tests done on the shroud prove that Jesus existed, and all the miraculous claims about him are 100% true. Now, this is a spectacular claim, so let's see what's actually going on here. And in order to do so, we need to go back in time a little bit, so sit back and let me tell you this story. The shroud has been a mysterious piece of linen with murky origins and has been housed by the Catholic Church for many centuries now. The claim that it was the cloth that housed Christ's body was only further solidified in 1898 when Pia, an amateur photographer, got the opportunity to photograph the shroud. Pia gladly agreed to do so when he clicked the picture and began developing the negatives. At the time, he noticed that there was a distinct shape of a man that was visible on it. This drew in the crowds of believers who well and truly believed that this PHP had to be that of Christ. As science further progressed, many tests were conducted, with many claiming the shroud to be fake while others claiming it to be genuine. The shroud has only been mentioned briefly in the Bible as well. The first definite effort that was undertaken to prove or disprove its validity was done in the 70s by a team of scientists dubbed the Shroud of Turin Research Project, or STURUP team. The team of tempered scientists conducted several tests on the cloth and had come to the conclusion that the imprint of the man on the cloth could not have been made by any amateur corn artist, and that there was no scientific explanation as to how the imprint came onto the cloth. Tests in the ADS used more modern techniques like carbon C14 dating. Three groups of scientists using this technique had come to the conclusion that it was a fake, dashing the hopes of many believers. But recently declassified info shows that the three teams had never concluded on the same note, and that they had all received different readings, making the evidence produced by this team completely invalid. But more recently, 5 scientists from Italy had banded together to use the latest state-of-the-art X-ray technology to finally answer the question that's been asked for centuries: is the shroud genuine? They used a new method called wide-angle X-ray scattering to determine whether the degradation of the cellulose in the linen was consistent with the dates that the shroud was presented to originate from. The results absolutely shocked the scientific community. It was found that the linen indeed originated from the 1st century, but these scientists wanted to ensure that they were right and redid their tests with another piece of linen. The scientists ended up placing the date of the cloth somewhere between 55 and 75 at the same date that the STUR team had ended up on. But that's not the end of the story. In fact, it's just the beginning. As Joe and Mel continue to discuss the shroud, something strange happened. Mel mentioned something that could change the way we look at the shroud forever. If you look close, you can see the image of a Tiberius coin marks on the eyes. Now, I don't know if that's real or not. I've never actually checked that, but that there's images of Tiberius. Take a closer look at the eyes. Can you see it? A small round shape, something extraordinary. Could that be a coin? Not just any coin, a coin from the time of Jesus' discovery of the century. So why is this so important? In ancient Jewish burial customs, it was typical to place a coin on the eyes of The deceased to pay the ferryman to cross the river Styx, symbolizing the soul's journey into the afterlife. If this coin is real, if it's truly from the time of Jesus Christ, could this be the exact coin placed over the eyes of Jesus himself after his death? This small, seemingly insignificant coin could be the smoking gun, the key that ties the shroud directly to the time of Jesus Christ. It would mean that the shroud is not just an ancient relic, but a powerful link to the actual events of Christ's burial. It an artifact from the 1st century that not only fits perfectly within the historical context of the time, but also carries with it the possibility of being the most direct physical connection to Jesus' death and burial. This discovery, this coin, this image on the shroud, it's a game changer. For believers, it could be the miraculous sign that we've all been waiting for. For skeptics, it's an irrefutable piece of evidence that demands to be examined, but this is only the beginning. What we uncover next might just blow your mind. What I'm about to reveal is so incredible, it's so game-changing that it's been kept under wraps for years. This isn't just another theory or a wild guess. This is real, tangible proof that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the shroud. Okay, here's the deal. In 2024, something happened that changed the game forever. Researchers made a discovery so shocking it's hard to believe it's not front page news everywhere. They found a second face. That's right, a second face. But here's the kicker, it's not on the front of the shroud, it's on the back, hidden, invisible to the naked eye. And it's not just a random smudge or a shadow, it's a perfect ghostly mirror image of the face we see on the front. But let's pause for a moment, cause things are about to get truly shocking. And if you're still watching right now, can you do me a quick favor and hit like and subscribe so we can bring this message to the entire world? Thank you. Now let's get right back to it. The shroud isn't just a one-sided image, it's a double-sided mystery. The image on the back isn't painted or stamped, it's embedded into the fibers of the cloth. And here's the craziest part, the two faces align perfectly. The wounds, the blood stains, the contours of the face, they match. This isn't just a coincidence, this is something science can't full explain. Think about it, if this were a medieval forgery, how would someone create an image on both sides of the cloth without leading brush strokes, pigments, or any trace of how it was done? And not just any image, a perfect, anatomically accurate 3D encoded image that matches the front. It's impossible. Even with today's technology, we can't replicate it. Scientists have been scratching their heads over this for years. The image on the back of the shroud isn't just superficial, it penetrates the entire thickness of the cloth. Whatever created this image didn't just sit on the surface, it passed through the fabric. And here's the kicker, the image is only a few micrometers deep. It's like a perfect microscopic burn, but without any signs of heat or chemical alteration. If the shroud is a forgery, how did a medieval artist, someone without lasers, without computers, without any of the technology we have today, create a double-sided image that modern science can't even explain? And if it's not a forgery, what could have caused this? What kind of energy, what kind of event could have left such a precise, haunting image on both sides of the cloth? Some researchers believe this points to something extraordinary, something beyond our understanding. Could this be evidence of a miraculous event, a burst of energy at the moment of resurrection, or is it something else entirely, a phenomenon we haven't even discovered yet? Now, if you thought this was all, I've got a bombshell for you, a mystery so big it deserves its own video. What if I told you the Shroud of Turin might be connected to one of the most legendary relics in history, a cloth known as the mandolin or the image of Edessa cloth, said to bear the face of Jesus, miraculously imprinted, not painted by human hands. But here's a twist: the mandolin disappeared in 1204 during the Fourth Crusade, and then centuries later the Shroud of Turin appears. Coincidence? Maybe, but what if they the same object? What if the shroud was hidden, folded to show only the face, and smuggled out of Constantinople? What if its history goes back not to the Middle Ages, but to the 1st century? Next time we're diving into the shocking connection between the shroud and the man lion, a story filled with mystery, intrigue, and historical twists that leave you questioning everything. Trust me, you won't want to miss that.